Hey, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? My name is Doodles. Now, yesterday I uploaded a video where I talked about the new changes to the YouTube partnership program, which is going to see many channels lose their partnership. The new requirements now to have partnership with YouTube so you can earn revenue is that you've got to have over 4,000 hours of watch time, which is 240,000 minutes, and over 1,000 subscribers. And I've been crunching some numbers over the last couple of hours, and you would not believe how many channels this is going to affect, and even more important, how much revenue these channels are going to lose. Let's take a look at it. So right, when I was planning this video, I actually contemplate making it in two parts because of how much information there's going to be. And I might see how it goes in the editing stage, but I think either way the video is going to be very long-winded. There's going to be a lot of information, a lot of figures. Bearing in mind that all these figures are only estimates based on my own calculations, sort of using some figures that I've been able to gather myself and then sort of estimating them using some math. So the figures aren't going to be 100% accurate because I haven't got access to YouTube's backend. I don't know what creators are earning, how much revenue is being generated by these creators. It's only my estimations based on the information that we have online. And let's take a look at it right now. So basically, first thing I had to do was figure out how many channels are actually losing monetization. And I managed to figure out there's somewhere in the region of 19 to 20 million channels on YouTube. So I have a channel that currently has 9 subscribers. It's not this channel, it's another channel that I started up fairly recently. I haven't done too much on it yet, and no one really knows it exists, but on Social Blade it says that the ranking for the 9 sub channel is 19,082,900. So you can sort of take into consideration that it's going to be a lot of channels with 9 or less subscribers, so there's going to be somewhere in the region of 19 to 20 million channels. So we'll go with 20 million. We'll say it's 20 million channels on YouTube to give it a nice round figure. And then on the flip side, I had to find out how many channels have over 1,000 subscribers. And then I actually have an inactive gaming channel that I started, the very first channel that I created on YouTube, and that currently has 912 subscribers, and that is currently ranked 2,496,563rd on YouTube. So there's going to be some channels with between 912 and 1,000 subscribers. So we're going to estimate there's approximately 2 million channels that have 1,000 subscribers or more. So that means that there's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of 17 to 18 million channels that are going to lose monetization in just 30 days. Which, when you think about it, that is huge. If there is 20 million channels on YouTube, that means that 90% of channels on this platform will no longer be able to monetize. That is absolutely insane. But that also means that the revenue generated from the bottom 90% is also going to go to the top 10%, because the advertisers, the big companies, they still have adverts that they want to place on YouTube videos. They now just have 18 million less channels to place them on, which means all of those ads are now going to go over the top 2 million channels. Now I'm going to read a little bit of a statement that YouTube put out yesterday. This is basically where the basis of my calculations came from. It said, though these changes will affect a significant number of channels, 99% of those affected were making less than $100 per year in the last year, with 90% earning less than $2.50 in the last month. So I'm going to do some calculations now. Hopefully you'll be able to follow along. I'm going to put some stuff up on screen so you can hopefully see what I'm talking about. Hopefully you can follow along. So the top 1% of the 18 million were making $100 or more a year. And then 90% of the lower 99% were making less than $2.50 a month. And if we do some calculations, 90% of 99% is 89.1% of channels were making less than $2.50 a month. And then on the flip side, that means that 10.9% of the 99% were making more than $2.50 a month. So if we do some calculations, that shows that 1% of 18 million is approximately 180,000 channels were making more than $100 a year. And if we cap that 1% and making exactly $100, they weren't making 99, they weren't making 101, they were making exactly $100. All 180,000 channels were making $100 a year. That equates to $18 million in revenue. Now this is where things start to get a little bit more complex. If we take the 89.1% of the 18 million channels, that equates to approximately 16,038,000 channels that made less than $2.50 a month. Since this will range anywhere from 0 cents to $2.50, we'll say that if all channels on average made $1 a month, that would equate to $16,038,000 in revenue per month. And even if we go a little bit lower, because not all channels, there'll be millions of channels that make like 2 cents a month. So even if we lower that average down to 50 cents a month, it works out at making $8,019,000 a month in revenue. But obviously we're talking about one single month, not a whole year. So we have to increase all those numbers by 12 to equate for the 12 months. And if we do that, if all of these channels made $1 a month for a year, that would equate to $192,456,000 in revenue. And on the flip side, if it all averaged out, every channel made 50 cents a month, that would equate to $96,228,000 a year too. Right, now things get a little bit more complex here because we've got a lot of what if these channels made this. So the figures obviously aren't going to be accurate, but it'll sort of give you a potential ballpark figure and sort of showing that how much revenue potentially is being lost by the small creators. But if we take the 10.9% that made more than $2.50 a month, that equates to 1,962,000 channels made more than $2.50 a month, or $30 a year. And we can figure out that these channels, this 1,962,000 channels made more than $30 a year, but less than $100 a year. Now I'm going to have some figures on screen now for you guys to show that if all of these channels, if all 1,962,000 channels made $30 a year each, that would generate $58,860,000 in revenue. So right on screen now I'm going to show the figures for if all of the creators, all the 1,962,000 creators earned $30 a year, $40 a year, $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, $100. This figure would range from $58,860,000 all the way up to $196,200,000 a year by these creators. So right now we've got all of those figures. I really hope you've been able to understand it. Write it down if you can't understand this at all. If it's sort of going too fast, you don't sort of understand all these numbers. Trust me, it took me a long time to figure this stuff out. If you can't follow along, just write it all down and then make a note of it and you'll sort of be able to keep up with the video. But now it's time to total all of this stuff up and get the sort of the estimated ballpark figure of revenue that's being lost by these YouTubers. So right, if all the top 1% were capped at $100 a year, that is $18 million in revenue. And now we take the 89.1% that are earning less than $2.50 a month or $30 a year. And if we average it out for $1 a channel per month, that equates to $192,456,000 a year. And with 50 cents a channel per month, that is $96,228,000. So far we have either 210,456,000 or 114,228,000, depending on the averages that we are using. So now we have those figures. Let's take a look at the 10.9% that earned over $30 a year but less than $100 a year. Like I said, the 10.9% equals 1,962,000 channels. So we'll take the figures that I put up on screen earlier, all of those really complex figures. I'll put them all up on screen. If we add them to the 192,456,000 and the 96,228,000, we get these figures here. So as you can see, if my information is even remotely correct, which is not going to be 100% accurate, but it's going to give you maybe somewhere in the ballpark, even if we take the lowest possible ballpark figure that I've came up with, we have got $155,088,000 in revenue. And if we take the highest estimate that I've got, we have got $388,656,000 in revenue. Now, yes, that does sound like a lot of money. I couldn't even imagine if you laid out $388 million in front of me. You couldn't even imagine how much money that would equate to, what it would look like. That is absolutely a staggering amount of money. So where's all this money going? Well, as I said earlier, all of the companies still have ads that they want to place on videos. All the Warner Brothers, the Pepsis, the McDonald's, the Fords, all these big companies still have ads they want to place. Just rather than placing them on the lower 18 million channels, now they're going to place them on the upper 2 million channels. Now I've done a little bit of research to try and figure out exactly how much YouTube makes from ad revenue, and on the flip side, how much Google makes from ad revenue through all their ad platforms that they have. And I figured out that YouTube in 2017 was expected to make $73.8 billion in ad revenue and ad sales in 2017. So if they actually did hit that target, I don't know for sure. I don't think it's too early to tell whether they actually made it. I don't think they've released their figures for 2017 yet. But if that figure was correct, they have made potentially $73.8 billion in ad sales in 2017. And YouTube equates for 6% of Google's ad sales revenue. So if we take 6% of $73.8 billion, that equates to $4.428 billion in ad revenue that YouTube has generated for Google. So going back to the figures that I calculated earlier, at my lowest estimate, the bottom 18 million channels on YouTube generated approximately 6.86% of all revenue on YouTube. And on my highest estimate, small creators accounted for approximately 17.2% of all revenue. So what exactly does this mean? This means that the upper 2 million channels on YouTube that do have monetization are going to get potentially 6 to 17% richer. And we all know that potentially the bottom million will get potentially 6% richer, while the upper million will get 17, 20, even 30% richer. Your Jake Pauls and all your really upper end channels, they're the ones that are going to benefit massively from this. And one thing that we can take away from this is essentially the poor suffer because of the actions of the rich. That's right, folks. The poor suffer because of the actions of the rich. We know all of this came about because of the Logan Paul situation. Logan Paul did what he did. Channels re-uploaded it. Channels were created to re-upload and monetize that content. They were getting all the views, and obviously YouTube is trying to combat that, which is fair enough. Those channels shouldn't be doing what they're doing. Those channels should be removed from YouTube. But they are making the poor channels suffer. They're making the lower end channels suffer because of the actions that the upper 1% do. And that is wrong. These channels are suffering massively. It's not a massive amount of money. Most of these channels aren't earning a great deal of money, but it's little bits that can be put back into the channel, whether it's paying for a subscription fee for like After Effects and Photoshop and your video editing software, all that sort of stuff that people might be using the revenue for so they can make videos, to people that are buying products to unbox and review on the channels, which obviously now they've got to fund out their own pockets. And maybe like I spent my last YouTube paycheck on a webcam, which you're actually watching me right now. YouTube paid for that, and fair enough, I've still got a monetization status, but I very well might not have. If YouTube had changed the rule to be 1 million minutes and 5,000 subscribers, I would have been demonetized, which would have absolutely sucked, because I've grinded for nearly 3 years on this platform, and if I had that taken away from me, that would have been heartbreaking. That would have been really disheartening. I decided at the start of this year that I was going to go all in with YouTube. I've been on it for a couple of years now. I really want to make a go of it. I want to try grow this channel as big as I can. And if YouTube turned around and said, I know you're trying to do it. I know you're trying to work as hard as you can. But mate, it's not good enough. That would have been heartbreaking. And maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't think I would have gave up. But some people might. And it is heartbreaking. Fair enough, these people aren't rich. These people aren't living off their YouTube revenue. But some of these channels in this bottom 18 million could be your next favourite creator. You might be a huge fan of Jacksepticeye or something like that. But Jacksepticeye was in this bottom 18 million, this bottom 90% at some point in time. He isn't anymore. He's in the top 1%. But at one point or another, Jacksepticeye was in the bottom 18, well, not 18 million at the time, but the bottom 90% of YouTube. PewDiePie was in the bottom 90% of YouTube. Markiplier was in the bottom 90%. Jake Paul's in the bottom 90%. Leafy, Keemstar, iDubbbz, RiceGum. All of these big channels were in the bottom 90% of YouTube at some point or another. And now they're not on your favourite creator. In 5 years' time, you could have this new favourite creator, the new big star on YouTube, the new Jake Paul on YouTube could right now be in that bottom 90%. And maybe this is the thing that makes him go, it's not worth it. I've been grinding for too long. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not making the money. Definitely not making money now. This is just too hard for me. I give up. I can't do it anymore. And that's a shame. Like I said, your new favourite creator could be out there right now giving up, making his final video, and that'll be it. And that absolutely sucks. And I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope everyone pulls together. I really hope this is the fire that gets lit under everyone's asses and everyone says, right, I'm going to make better content, I'm going to make more content, and I'm going to get myself monetized. I really hope that's what people are going to do. And if this taught me anything, it's that if the parameters would change a little bit, I would have got hit with this partner status thing. So I've just managed to scrape it through. So now I'm determined to make more videos, better videos. And I'm determined to make sure that if they ever increase that again, I am high enough above it that I won't be affected. And I really hope everyone who's in the lower 18 million do exactly the same. So I really hope you guys made it through this video. If you're watching me say these words, of course you did, and I really appreciate that. What do you think? Are my calculations anywhere correct? Are they completely wrong? Let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole partnership status thing. It hasn't affected me in the slightest. I have my partner status, which is amazing, but it has really pissed me off a lot more than I expected it to, because I'm seeing friends of mine that are doing the grind, who are really trying to make something, who are basically getting told, it's not good enough, try harder, mate, and it's shit. I really hope they sort it out. And I really hope if you're one of these channels that are affected, you sort it out too. So if you enjoyed this video today, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, because I need those subscriptions in case YouTube up the requirements once again. And thank you guys for watching until the end of the video. That's amazing watch time for me. And that's watch time that's going to help keep the channel partnered for many, many more months to come. My name is Doodles. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.